So, in the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, Alhamdulillah, Allah has given us a book, the Quran, which explains everything in it. And so, I want to make the most important point of today right in the beginning, and that is that we are fooled and deceived to think organizations like the Freemasons and the Illuminati and the Bones and all the other secret societies that we know of are the real secret societies. These are not the real secret societies. Even, the Quran explains everything, right? And Freemasons, for example, because they're the most well-known organization, secret society, quote-unquote secret society, they have, objectives of theirs that have something to do with the dark side, but they're not the real organizations, and they're not the real people, and they're not the real movers and doers, nor are the Bones, nor is the Illuminati, nor is the Builder Group, right? Because the Quran tells us the people that are with Shaitan, because when you talk about secret society, how I define them as I understand it from Quran, is a group of people that have a connection with Shaitan, and Shaitan has deceived them, and they do the work of Shaitan, okay? And Shaitan has certain qualities, and they apply those qualities to themselves. And one of those qualities is from the word jinn. The word jinn means anything with jim and noon means to hide. Like Jannah will be a place in Jannah, right, that will be hidden from other people. Okay, you can call it like residential gardens. There's trees all around and no one can see what's actually happening in the inside. Or jim noon is also used for the womb of the mother. Okay, jinan. Okay, and in the same way, the word jinn is an entity that no one can see, and so they like to hide. And it is, if somebody has magic, and you figure out that there's a jinn involved or that there's magic involved, half the battle from the jinn perspective is lost the minute you know that the jinn is inside this person, because now you know where to read Quran. Now you know where to attack the shaitan. And so half his battle is lost the moment you are not hiding from their perspective. The minute you know where they are, then so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the same way. I will share with you this verse of the Quran from the very beginning. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I just want to point out this part. Innahu yarawnakum, meaning shaitan, he sees you. Huwa wa qabiluhu, him and his tribe, meaning the people that are with him. Okay, not zuriya. Zuriya is his progeny, which is a separate group mentioned in Quran. Huwa wa qabilahu yarawnakum min haythu la tarawnahum. They see you from where you don't see them. They have access to surveillance or whatever you want to call it, but they see you and you don't see them. They know you, you don't know them. Okay, and this is also clarified in another verse of the Quran over here. وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, when they meet the believers, they say what? قَالُوا آمَنَّا. We were believers, we believe, we are just like you, we are Muslims, because these people in secret societies, this elite group has less to do with culture and religion and more to do with a certain economic elite, and so they're amongst Muslims too. وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قَالُوا آمَنَّا. And when they meet the believers, they say, yes, we believe. وَإِذَا خَلَوْا إِلَى شَيَاطِينِهِمْ. And when they're alone with their shayateen, when they're alone with their leaders, with their devils, when they're alone, okay, they're not in public. They don't do this type of they don't plan against Muslims in public. We see the effect of that in public, but they don't actually do the planning in public. In the Congress or in the Senate or in public meetings, right? This is all done in secret. قَالُوا إِنَّ مَعَكُمْ. They said, no, we're with you. إِنَّ مَعَكُمْ إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ مُسْتَهْزِئُونَ. We're just mocking at them. This idea that, there's a secret society and they have certain symbols and certain language, that may be, but that's not the emphasis in Quran. And I'm saying that because this all could be just, we have to keep our lens on the Quran. And to get too caught up into, oh, this is their symbols and this is their symbols, may take you away from Quran in the sense that you might be getting fooled, because there's a lot of disinformation out there too. So you have to be very careful. And so what is the basis of these secret societies is, and I'm not going to go into the details of this particular verse, but it is this particular verse. I'm just going to read to you the basic meaning and translation and explanation of this verse. وَاتَّبَعُوا مَا تَتْلُو الشَّيَاطِينُ بَعْدَ أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ بِسْمِ اللَّهِ الرَّحْمَنِ الرَّحِيمِ وَاتَّبَعُوا مَا تَتْلُو الشَّيَاطِينُ عَلَى مُلْكِ سُلَيْمَانَ, and recite to them what the shayateen they recite in regards to the kingship of Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam, because the goal here is the power of Sulaiman. Okay, وَمَا كَفَرَ سُلَيْمَانَ, Sulaiman didn't do kufr. وَلَكِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ كَفَرُوا, but shayateen, they have done kufr. يُعَلِّمُونَ النَّاسَ السِّحْرَ, they have taught people how to do magic. For what? For in order to attain the powers of Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam. This is one explanation. There's many others. وَمَا أُنزِلَ عَلَى الْمَلَكَيْنِ بِبَابِلَ هَارُوتَ وَمَارُوتَ, and not were sent down on the people of Babylon, okay, Babylonia, the angels of Harut and Marut. They came down for another purpose, because they were the Muslims of the time, meaning Bani Israel, was asking, how do we know who's a magician and who's a prophet? They both do miracles. So these angels came down to teach people that which would differentiate between the shayateen and Nabuwa, prophethood. And what happened as a result is they, by learning this, learned how to access the works of the shayateen. Okay, so instead of learning the knowledge to understand what is prophethood and who is a real prophet, they took it to the other way. Okay, وَمَا أُنزِلَ عَلَى الْمَلَكَيْنِ بِبَابِلَ هَارُوتَ وَمَارُوتَ وَمَا يُعَلِّمَانِ مِنْ أَحَدٍ حَتَّى يَقُولَا, and they didn't teach anyone until they said what? They both said, حَتَّى يَقُولَا إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ فِتْنَةٌ, look, we are fitna for you. You can use this knowledge for good or bad. فَلَا تَكْفُرْ, don't do kufr. فَيَتَعَلَّمُونَ مِنْهُمَا مَا يُفَرِّقُونَ بِهِ بَيْنَ الْمَرْءِ وَزَوْجِهِ, and this is how they learned the knowledge of what would divide a husband from a wife. How to use the shaitan. It started with, we want to know who's a true prophet, to now they started to use the most basic form of magic, is the magic of dividing the husband and the wife. وَمَا هُمْ بِضَارِينَ بِهِ مِنْ أَحَدٍ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ, and this type of knowledge will not hurt anyone except by the permission of Allah. Meaning whatever even magic does, this is also within the permission of Allah. Allah allows it or doesn't allow it. وَيَتَعَلَّمُونَ مَا يَضُرُّهُمْ وَلَا يَنْفَعُهُم, and they taught people the things that hurt them and not benefit them. Now here's the main point. وَلَقَدْ عَلِمُوا لَمَنِ اشْتَرَاهُ مَا لَهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنْ خَلَاقٍ, and they fully were aware that whoever purchased this, whoever does this, right, because they made this into a business. They learned how to use the shayat, and then they made this into business, teaching other people how to access the world of jinns, and so on and so forth. يُعَلِّمُ لِمَنِ اشْتَرَاهُ مَا لَهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنْ خَلَاقٍ وَلَبِئْسَ مَا شَرَوْا بِهِ أَنفُسَهُمْ, what a bad bargain they have sold themselves with. وَلَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ, only if they did but know. So the secret of secret societies is that they're not secret, okay, because they are in plain view. They're out there for everyone to know. For example, if you want to know about where their lodges are, okay, this is the Freemason website, okay, and what they show is, look, we do hospital visitations, look over here, right, disaster and other appeals, right, current appeals. They do a lot of good things, but they have their agendas too. Whatever their disaster appeal for California, they do their thing. That's all. It's all there. Okay, that's whatever it is. What it is. Okay, but these are not the real secret societies. The real societies, secret societies, are really hidden, and that's part of Shaitan's agenda. That you do not, because for many reasons, but that you're not able to really pinpoint who are your enemies. They and their tribe see you from where you do not see them. Okay, and so for the most part, Freemasons are what? Freemasons are the secret society that hides in plain view. It's not secret. It's a government-registered organization. Many times in America, you may not know this, but, whenever we give Eid khutbah, many times I've been invited to a place where the place of the Eid khutbah is a lodge, is a Mason lodge or an Elk lodge or one of these lodges, because they don't have enough space in the masjid, so they need a big place, and they rent out, and these people, they rent out their spaces. There's nothing secret about them. And so these secret groups are not secret for, so for example, the Builder Group. It's not secret in the sense that there are people from the public invited into that meeting and discussion and so on and so forth. And so the secret societies have created fake secret societies in order to keep us away from the real secret societies. So people like Trump are not Freemasons, according to the Freemason websites and blogs. And that may be true or may not be true, but, it is what it is. If you look over here, Freemasons registered organization, you can see the Masonic bodies, you can see how to become a Freemason. This one's interesting in Israel, right? There's a Freemason lodges in Israel also. Not a cult. The Freemasons want you unless you happen to be a woman. Faced with dwindling ranks, meaning the number of people in the Freemasons is dwindling, the Freemasons are trying to shed their secretive image. And the Grand Master of an Israeli branch says the organization is Boy Scouts for adults, and joining is as easy as sending an email for men, that is. The point being is that these secret societies, what are they about? Yes, they do have certain dark elements to them, right? Like the skull and the bones. They do a lot of things that are anti-Islamic. Skull, like, skull is from where you drink the blood, which is haram, right? And bones is the food of the jinns, right? So they have a lot of these secret elements, but they're not the real secret societies. And so what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell us about these secret societies besides what I've already talked about? I want to show it you here. Let me just go up here. I want to show you one thing here. We can skip this ayah too, inshallah. Hold on. وَيَعُدُّهُمْ وَيُمْنِيهِمْ. Shaitan gives you promises and gives you hope. وَمَا يَعُدُّهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ إِلَّا غُرُورًا. And Shaitan gives them nothing but deception. Okay, this is very important. And another verse of the Quran that if I find it quickly, I will show you. I will show you that, this is all, these groups, they really don't have that much power, right? According to the Quran, they do what they do, and that's it. We have to do what we have to do, right? كَانَ الْإِنسَانُ عَدُوًّا مُبِينًا. He is your enemy, and his job is to create enmity and fight and hatred amongst human beings. This is what Shaitan does. Now, there are other characteristics that are also very, very interesting, which I would like to get into at a later time. But for today, my main point was that these secret societies are not the real secret societies. And so we shouldn't be over. And by the way, I want to share with you something interesting, is that, I've met, alhamdulillah, quite a few people in my life. And so I've met Muslims who've converted to Islam, who were at one time Freemasons or invited to the Freemasons or the Bones. And so what is one of the things that they like to do? For example, I'm just going to give you the example of Bones, okay? So there's a brother, a Muslim brother. He became Muslim. He's a white Muslim today. He's a practicing Muslim. In fact, he's a president of a masjid today. He was becoming a doctor. He was invited by the Bones to become a member, and then it was, he was interested, so he was beginning to read about them before joining them. But what do? They basically look at people that have potential. because by the 20s you could tell who are the people that have potential to really become high position, right? If somebody's in a college and university doing really good, he's also running the newspaper of the university, and he's also doing other activities of the university, you know this guy is full of potential for the future. So why not put him in a fraternity? Why not put him in a brotherhood where he can be groomed to his highest potential with other mentors who are already in high positions? And so that's the outside of it, right? And then you have these charity works that they do on the outside of it. And then what's on the inside, Allah knows. Obviously, it's, part of what dark societies do, secret societies do, but these are not the real secret societies. The secret societies are those that are actually involved in magic. They are the people that are actually involved in selling themselves and setting the agendas for these smaller secret or so-called secret societies. Freemasons are not a secret society. Everything about them is known. I can literally like if I come over here right now, like I'm in, let's just do this experiment right online together. Freemason Lodge. Buffalo, New York. Okay. So there you go. You could tell that there are all these Freemason lodges that people belong to that are not very far away from me, right? So there's nothing secret about them. Nothing secret about them. Don't be deceived by this secret society. Secret society is to keep us away from seeing the real secret society. And we don't need to know who they are, because the Quran, as it already explains, that they want to remain hidden, and they will remain hidden, right? Until a certain point. But the thing is that don't be overly like, oh my God, they're part of the Freemasons, so what? It's like you're part of another organization. It's no big deal. And yes, they yield some influence, because any organization yields some influence. And they have some satanic aspects to it, which I'm not going to go into right now. And it does connect back to Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam. For example, the jinns for Sulaiman were builders, right? And so Mason means builders, right? And so these jinns, when Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam passed away, they were building buildings for him. And this is what they did. And this is how Quran describes them. And so, inshallah, I will end here for now. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات. Secret societies are not secret. And I also want to end by saying I had an interview on Boys in the Cave, the podcast. I'll put that link in the description. If you get a chance, please also listen to that interview of mine. It's very interesting. It's about the Khilafah and a lot of aspects of how Khilafah would look like today, and about how to create a social movement for change. And I also talk about certain misconceptions regarding the whole issue of Khilafah also. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Make sure to subscribe today, and make sure you like, and make sure you leave your comments and ideas. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. أشهد أن لا إله إلا